How the heck do you train to climb a mountain? No, I mean seriously, how do you actually train to do something like that without having a literal mountain in your backyard? If you're like me, when you first started mountain climbing, you had no idea how to train. But I really wanted to train because I wanted to enjoy the climb. Walking uphill, out of breath, is an absolute miserable existence and likely will turn you off from mountain climbing. And I don't want that for any of you. I want you to continue to climb mountains. That's why I've made this video on how the heck you train to climb a mountain when you don't have them in your backyard. My name is Hannah Michelotti. I am a public speaking and presentation skills coach and expert out of Portland, Oregon. And when I am not working with corporate clients, helping them to improve their public speaking and presentation skills, you likely can find me in the forest, climbing up a mountain, or skiing down a mountain, or some variety therein. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to actually train to climb a mountain. This is all based on what I have done in the past. Do not take this to be God's honest truth, how to train to climb a mountain. This is what I have done that has worked for me, and it is congruent with all the advice you'll read online, in a textbook, or if you go to a climbing guided site, you will read this information there as well. I have to say this, mountain climbing is inherently dangerous. It is an inherently dangerous sport. You assume all risk, responsibility, and liability when you partake in this activity. You can minimize your risk and your liability by properly training to climb a mountain. Mountain climbing, above all else, requires endurance. You need endurance. It is that simple. This entire video about how the heck to train to climb a mountain is all underneath this big, bad, huge umbrella called endurance. Endurance, while simple, oh goodness, does it take some time to build. Mountain climbing is a slow and steady sport. It is the tortoise, not the hare. Training and building your endurance falls into two major buckets: cardiovascular and strength. I'm going to first talk about how to build up your cardiovascular endurance. Then I will talk to you about how to build up your strength endurance. And do not skip the second part. Do not skip the strength training. I talk about cardiovascular first because it's the one that everyone's like, oh God, I have to go running. You don't have to go running. Here is how to build cardiovascular endurance. I approach mountain climbing with a running background. I used to run to run. I used to run to train to run races. I used to run to train to run races, to run faster races. A total runner's mindset. Now, I run so that I can climb mountains. You do not need to be a runner to climb a mountain. I repeat, you do not need to be a runner to climb a mountain. However, you do need to increase your cardiovascular endurance. We need to get your heart rate up without running. Outside of running, there are three types of cardio I recommend. Number one, hiking uphill to mimic mountain climbing. 2, uphill walking or treadmill walking at an incline. 3, stair stepping. Again, you typically need a machine for this one at the gym. All three activities are guaranteed to get your heart rate going up, up, up without running. Now, if you are wondering why biking and swimming are not part of this list, it's because they are great for general fitness. But neither one of those activities mimics the load you will put on your muscles when you are moving in a vertical direction. When you are walking uphill, you are not able to mimic that on a bike or in a swimming pool. Mountain climbing is extremely sport specific. Ideally, we would all have mountains in our backyard that we could practice climbing up and climbing down. If you are just starting out training to climb a mountain, you need to establish a baseline. This means that you will want to engage in one of these cardiovascular activities, whether that is running or hiking uphill, walking uphill, that treadmill walking uphill, or stair stepping at least 3 to 4 times a week for about 45 to 90 minutes each time in those blocks. Yes, it's time consuming, but yes, it's worth it if you want to climb a mountain. If this is a goal or a priority for you, I promise it's worth it. And also, I hear exercise is good for you. So go to the gym, go outside, put on some Lizzo, some ZZ Top, some Toto, and get your workout done. Get that cardio in. If you're wondering where you can walk uphill in Portland pretty easily to get that cardio in, here are 3 places that I recommend that give you the elevation and they're not straight up a mountain. I'm going to list these in order of most accessible and least elevation gain to a little further out there and more elevation gain. Let's start with number 1. This is Lower Macleay Trailhead all the way up to Pittock Mansion. You are going to gain roughly 900 feet and it's about a 5-mile hike. You are going pretty steadily uphill, but there are flat spots in between and you get a super cool view at the top with a really old house. Number 2 is the Markham Trailhead to Council Crest. You're gonna gain about 1,100 feet of elevation, and you're gonna do this in roughly 6 miles. It is a lot of uphill, a lot of the time, but it's gorgeous. And on a sunny day at the top, you can see 4 mountains. Go check it out. Number 3 is the BPA road off of Highway 30. This is at the very northern end of Forest Park, and I will warn you right now, it is uphill. This is so uphill. It is a grind, it is a slog, it is hard, but you are gaining nearly 900 feet of elevation in under a mile. So you're just like down and dirty getting it done. You're just going uphill. This BPA trail is famous for trail runners and hikers to do repeats on. So you just go up to the top where you can see a view of the Port of Portland. There's a cow you can touch, and then you go down and you do it again. And it's a little masochistic, but so is mountain climbing sometimes. Now, if you're looking for areas outside of Portland where you can get in a great hike, some views and photos, but also get that uphill you're looking for, here are 4 places that I recommend in the Columbia River Gorge to hike. Number 1, Angel's Rest. Tried and true, classic hike, gorgeous views. A lot of uphill, but it's a relatively short trail. I think it's under 4 miles. It's just a lot of switchbacks to the top. Chef's kiss views. Number 2, Hamilton Mountain. This is on the Washington side of the gorge. You go up the trail, you do a lollipop, and you come down the trail. It's beautiful. It's really set back into some waterfalls and natural forest. Horses are also allowed on the trail, so you can see some wildlife while you're out there potentially. Number 3 is Dog Mountain. Dog Mountain is famous in the Columbia River Gorge, again on the Washington side, for its wildflowers. It is a permitted hike though during wildflower season, but whoo, this one will get you. This one's like 8.5 miles round trip and a heck of a lot of elevation. I can't even remember how much. You're going uphill a lot. 4th and finally, Mount Defiance. This hike is not for the faint of heart. This hike is hard. It's really hard. I usually do this hike right before I'm about to do the climb I've slated, so 1 to 2 weeks out to prepare myself and also to give myself a reality check because this hike will simulate a mountain climb. It's so steep. It's so long. And then you get to the top. There is a beautiful view of Mount Hood. Let me say that at first. But you get to the top and you're traveling along a Forest Service road, which cars can drive up, and there is a radio tower. So people can drive up to the top of this thing that you've just hiked and they can be in their cars and they can be warm and they can be in the shade and have air conditioning, and you've just walked this. It's not for the faint of heart, but it is a great barometer to see where you are in your training cycle and if you're at the right spot to climb a mountain. Once you have established a strong baseline of endurance, meaning you are not completely gassed after climbing the equivalent of the Burj Khalifa in stairs, you're going to add weight. When you mountain climb, you climb with a backpack. It's typically 30 to 40 pounds. It has water, it has food, it has the 10 essentials, it has gear, and it is not light in total. In parts, light. Together, 30 to 40 pounds. Continue your cardio workouts as scheduled, but with the added weight. So you're adding weight on your hikes. You're adding weight when you are walking uphill on the treadmill. You are adding weight when you are walking up those steps on the stair stepper. Personally, I like to add weight by putting on my climbing pack, which buckles around my waist. Not only does this simulate the pack that I'm actually going to use, but it allows me to weight my backpack so that the weight is around my hips instead of on my shoulders and my traps. Mountain climbing packs are going to buckle at the waist, so get used to that feeling, and then you can load the pack accordingly. If you're wondering what to put in your pack, don't put dumbbells or kettlebells. It's a terrible idea. My climbing partner did it when we climbed Dog Mountain one time, and his back was so sore from the weights constantly hitting against his lower lumbar. Instead, I recommend you buy a bag of potting soil, the thickest, densest bag of potting soil you can find, and I'm talking like the big one. Stuff it in a climbing backpack. Just put the whole thing in and you're good to go. It's a great way to get a bang for your buck with weight that's not water, that's not a random assortment of the things that you found in your house, and definitely not dumbbells or kettlebells. Let's talk about number 2, the little known secret when it comes to training to climb a mountain that is called strength training, or building your strength endurance. If you were like me when I started mountain climbing 7-ish years ago, I was not doing any sort of strength training. Who needs it? It's for the birds. I'm fine just running around all the time. Why do I need to lift weights? What will that do for me? Strength training has made the biggest difference on my endurance, my physical fitness, and my injury prevention across the board, from running to hiking to mountain climbing to skiing to AT skiing. Strength training has been the key. The earlier you can start doing it, the better. Strength training, hard stop. Can't recommend it enough. If you're strong, you can do just about anything. The reason you need to incorporate strength training very specifically for mountain climbing is because mountain climbing is about time under load. So it's about building up your endurance underneath a heavy load, like a backpack. Your muscle strength is what's going to keep you upright and moving up the hill when the trail turns into the Stairmaster from Hades and Lucifer combined. When you enter the pain cave, when you climb a mountain, your strength in your muscles is what's going to keep you going. You are not lifting weights to look like Arnold. You are strength training to move more efficiently and more powerfully up the mountain. To do this, I'm going to talk about first what kind of movements you want to focus on. Second, I'm going to talk about the specific muscles you want to be targeting. Let's talk about the movements that you want to focus on. These are called compound movements. These mimic how your body moves when you climb a mountain. Again, we don't have mountains in our backyards, like literally out our back door. So we need to do movements that are going to mimic what it would be like climbing up a mountain. These are squats, lunges, step-ups, step-downs, deadlifts, and core stability. Think planks, side planks, and anti-rotation holds. You are going to want to start with 1 to 2 sessions a week that are 30 to 45 minutes in length of time. If you're starting from 0, body weight can be extremely effective for you. I'll give you an example. If you're doing step downs off a box, these can be challenging just in your body weight alone based on the height of the box and the repetition you're doing per leg. You may not need to add weight simply based on those 2 factors alone. Now, much like adding weight in your cardio sessions, you want to increase the weight for your strength workouts. So you can't stay at body weight forever. You do actually need to add weight. Make sure when you add weight, it is gradual, but make sure that it also challenges you.
Holy moly.
A fallacy that many people fall into is this: I need to be sore after my workout. Sore does not equal a good workout. Sore is layman's terms for DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness. Sore means that you've worked a muscle group or muscle groups that you haven't worked recently. So of course they're going to be fatigued and exhausted. You can have just as effective of a workout if you work the same muscles with different movements and different weights. We've talked about compound movements, which mimic your body moving uphill. Let's talk about the actual muscle groups on your body that you're wanting to focus on when you strength train. There are 2 major groups. You're mainly going to focus on your legs and your core. It doesn't mean your upper body isn't as important, but your legs are literally going to get you up the mountain, and your core is going to stabilize you up the mountain. The secret weapon to climbing up a mountain is actually your glutes. That's right, your butt, your tush, your bottom. That thing you sit on in an office chair all day long. Your glutes are your Clydesdales. They are what are going to power you uphill and keep you stable on uneven terrain like rock, snow, and ice. Next up, we have your hamstrings, which are on the backs of your thighs. And these are going to be critical for any of the pulling motions. So pulling yourself up to standing on a big step. They are also great for stabilizing. Make sure that you are working your hamstrings and your glutes because the 2 of them are connected on the backside of your body. They work in harmony together, and they work very hard when you climb mountains. Okay, now we can talk about your quads. Quads are what I like to call the brakes. They are what are going to brake and brace you as you go down the mountain. Last but not least are your calves. Why do we need these? You want to work these muscles because they help you to push off of surfaces and gain balance. They are what are going to give you endurance at an incline. So we've talked about your legs. Let's talk about your core. Core is all about stability and balance. You want to focus on your abdominals. These are for twisting, stabilizing, and they're also for maintaining posture. You are going to really hate climbing if you are hunched over and climbing like this. Having strong abs is going to help keep everything erect as you climb. Next part of your core is your lower back. Your lower back is what supports your spine in keeping you upright, especially when you have a backpack on. And third and finally in the core category are your hip flexors. These could live in core or they could live in legs. I put them in core. These are going to help you to step up on the rocks, step up on the ledges, step up from step to step. You want to make sure you give these some attention. If we put this all together, in a week, you are doing 3 to 4 days of cardiovascular activity for about 45 to 90 minutes, and then you're doing about 1 to 2 days of strength training for about 30 to 45 minutes. I would be remiss if I did not mention the final element you need in a training plan to climb a mountain, and that is this: rest. Endurance athletes and endurance activities require more rest than others. For 1 day of the week, go be a sloth, whatever that means to you. As for how long it takes to train to climb a mountain, if you're starting with a baseline of 0 or close to 0, by all accounts that I've read and researched, it takes anywhere from 4 to 6 months of consistent training. If you're like, woof, that's more than a marathon. Yeah, you betcha, it's more than a marathon. A marathon on a good day is not going to take you 10 hours. Hopefully, that's a very long marathon. Remember, you can go climb a mountain today, right now, without any sort of training. You will hate it. You will put yourself and anyone else you're climbing with at risk, and you may severely injure yourself or die, but you can certainly do it. Training to climb a mountain is all about decreasing your risk, decreasing your liability, and increasing your enjoyment of the activity itself. So go train. Let the fun begin. That is all I have for you today. If you liked this video or found it useful in any way, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And in the comments, let me know what you'd like to know more about in a training cycle that I can help you with. Again, I am not a trainer. I am not certified in any way, shape, or form, but I have climbed many mountains and I do have decades of experience in training for hard endurance activities. Thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you next time.